I think life couldn't get any better. You look tired, she said, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear. Long day at work. I survived, I laughed, leaning against her. But your smile makes it all worth it. She tilted her head, her eyes glinting. Flattery will get you everywhere, you know that. I'm serious, I insisted. I mean it. I don't know what I'd do without you. She chuckled softly. Probably still be miserable, honestly. Her words hit me funny, light teasing, but there was something in her tone I couldn't place. I brushed it off. Later, at dinner, my best friend Mark joined us. You two are insufferable, he said, laughing as we shared a plate of pasta. Honestly, I'm amazed you two haven't killed each other yet. I could say the same, she replied, smirking. He nags more than you do, Mark. I do not. I protested, though I laughed. Mark shrugged. I'm just saying, you guys are perfect together. People envy you. She leaned closer to me, whispering, envy is dangerous, isn't it? I froze for a moment. Dangerous? Was she joking? What did you say? I asked, half laughing. Nothing. Forget it, she said, her fingers brushing mine. Her smile returned instantly. I shook my head, smiling, pretending I hadn't noticed the fleeting sharpness. Later, in our apartment, I was flipping through photos of our last vacation. Remember this? I asked. You insisted on that cliff-jumping thing. I did. And you screamed like a little girl, she teased, nudging my shoulder. I thought I was going to die. I groaned. You loved it, she said, wrapping her arms around me. I love seeing you like this, excited, alive. You're always so serious at work. You need me to loosen you up. You do a great job, I murmured, resting my head against her shoulder. She kissed the top of my head. You're too sweet. I had to admit, part of me felt uneasy sometimes, tiny pricks of suspicion that faded the second I looked at her. She had a way of slipping under my skin and making me forget I'd even questioned her. Hey, Mark's voice echoed from the doorway. Dinner's getting cold if you two don't eat soon. I groaned. You're right. Let's go. She grabbed my hand, fingers entwining perfectly with mine. Don't forget to tell me how amazing I look tonight, she said playfully. You're always amazing, I said, smiling, though I noted the sly little smirk she gave me back. The weekend arrived, and we went to the gallery opening. You've got to meet everyone here, she said. They love you already. I laughed nervously. Do they, though? Or are they just being polite? They genuinely like you, she reassured me. Everyone wants what we have, look at us. I looked around. Friends laughing, glasses clinking. Life seemed perfect. Too perfect, maybe. But I swallowed the thought, letting it slide. Later, in a quieter corner, she whispered, promise me something. Anything, I said. Don't let anyone change how happy you are with me. Not your friends. Not anyone. I promise, I said, feeling warmth spread through me. She smiled, leaning close, her lips barely brushing mine. Good. I like you trusting me. The evening faded into a blur of laughter, music, and whispered conversations. And I, blissfully naive, believed everything she said. I believed in us. I didn't see the cracks forming, tiny, almost invisible, but present. Subtle manipulations hiding behind charm, smiles that hid agendas. Yet I trusted her completely. I couldn't have known that the perfect life I was holding so tightly was already starting to unravel. I woke up to my phone buzzing on the nightstand. A message from an unknown number, you're not seeing the truth. She's not who you think. What the hell? I muttered, staring at the screen. She appeared behind me, rubbing her eyes. Who are you texting at this hour? Just, some work stuff, I lied, tossing the phone onto the bed. She frowned. Work stuff? At midnight? I shrugged. I get messages from clients late sometimes. Don't worry about it. She studied me for a second, then smiled. You're paranoid. Maybe, I admitted, but the unease didn't fade. At breakfast, I tried to shake it off. Mark, have you ever noticed how, well, she sometimes says one thing but does another? He raised an eyebrow. Are you seriously questioning her? She seems perfect to me. Perfect's not the point, I said. It's the little things. She hides her phone, gets calls she doesn't mention. I can't put my finger on it. Mark shrugged. Maybe she just needs privacy. Doesn't mean anything. Later, at work, my colleague, Jenna, leaned over my desk. Hey, did you know your fiancé was asking about your schedule? I frowned. Yeah, she always asks. So? She asked the interns, too. And, she seemed upset when they couldn't tell her, Jenna said cautiously. I don't know why, but I thought you should know. I laughed nervously. Thanks. I guess. Jenna hesitated. Just, be careful, okay? Careful about what? I asked, trying to mask my panic. She shook her head. Nothing. Forget I said anything. I couldn't forget. That evening, I noticed her texting furiously on the couch. Who's that? I asked casually. She jumped slightly. No one. Just work. Funny, you're smiling like it's a joke. I'm tired. Can we not do this right now? I'm not accusing you, I said softly. Sometimes things feel off. She let out a sigh, eyes narrowing. Maybe you're imagining things. You always overthink. I wanted to believe her. I did. But the anonymous message, Jenna's warning, the small inconsistencies, they all gnawed at me. A few days later, her friend, Lisa, came over unannounced. She smiled at me too brightly. Hey, Aiden. How's my favorite couple? Hi Lisa. Everything's good, I said, though something about her tone made my stomach twist. Lisa leaned in, voice low. I just hope she's treating you well. Not everyone's honest, you know. What do you mean? I asked, frowning. Lisa shrugged. Just things people don't tell you. Little secrets. Happens all the time. I felt my chest tighten. Little secrets like what? Just things you'd want to know. Pay attention, she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. When she left, I stared at the door long after it closed. My mind raced. Was Lisa trying to warn me, or provoke me? The next night, she came home later than usual. Where were you? I asked. Out with friends. Nothing important, she said quickly. Why didn't you answer your phone? I was busy. Sorry. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to trust her. But each lie, each hesitation, added weight I couldn't ignore. A week later, we argued over dinner. Why do you always lock your phone? I asked, voice tight. I don't. You're imagining things, she snapped. I'm not. I see it. She stood abruptly. You're paranoid. You don't trust me, and that's the problem. I do trust you. I shouted, though my own words felt empty. No, you don't. And until you do, we're done here, she said, storming out. I sat in silence, heart pounding, staring at my untouched plate. Mark called later. You okay? You sound off. I don't know, I admitted. I feel like I'm losing her, or losing myself. You need to breathe. Don't let rumors get to you, he said. I'm not sure if it's rumors anymore, I whispered. That night, I checked my phone again. Another message from the unknown number, watch closely. She's not who she says she is. I dropped the phone onto the bed, my hands trembling. Who are you? I whispered into the darkness. And for the first time, I realized that trust wasn't something I could give blindly. It was fragile. I didn't know how much longer I could hold on to it, or if I even wanted to. I didn't want to believe it. Why is this here? I asked, staring at the stack of statements my lawyer had handed me. She glanced over my shoulder, feigning curiosity. What is it? These. Bank transfers. From my account. To yours, or some offshore one. You've been taking money, without telling me, I said, voice shaking. She laughed softly, tilting her head. Oh, come on. That's just business. You know how I like to invest. Business? I repeated, gripping the edge of the desk. You siphon thousands. 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 You're exaggerating. I'm not. I triple-checked with the bank and my advisor. It's all there. Every withdrawal. Every transfer. Her smile faltered, just a fraction. Look, maybe there's a misunderstanding. I was helping manage things. You know I'm good with numbers. Helping? By stealing? I asked, my chest tightening. You planned this. You were planning to take it all and, what? Run off with someone else. She blinked, eyes narrowing. How dare you accuse me? You think I'm like every other gold digger? I trusted you. I shouted. I loved you. Her expression shifted, cunning now, not remorseful. And I loved money. There's a difference, sweetheart. I felt bile rise. Money? Is that all I ever meant to you? Everything we had, all lies. You were naive. Too trusting. That's on you, she said coldly, folding her arms. I can't help who I am. I do what I have to. I shook my head, voice cracking. I can't believe this. I really can't. You should have seen it coming, she said. I warned you not to get too comfortable. You ignored it. I ignored it. I laughed bitterly. I ignored your smiles while you planned to betray me. I ignored all the warning signs. Every single little lie. She leaned closer, eyes glittering. You only see what you want to see. That's your fault. The words burned me. Everything I thought I knew, every laugh, every promise, every tender moment, it had been a lie. I buried my face in my hands. I don't even know who you are. You'll figure it out soon enough, she said, her tone almost playful. I always do. I stood abruptly. You're leaving. You think you can just move on with your life after this? I already have, she said simply. I felt rage explode inside me. You'll regret this. Mark my words, you will. She smirked. Regret? Please. That's your problem, not mine. You were too blind to see it coming. I stormed out, slamming the door behind me. Every step I took away from her apartment felt like walking through fire. My chest hurt, my mind raced, my trust shattered. I met my lawyer the next morning. I need everything, I said. Every record, every transaction, every connection she has. I need to know how deep this goes. Understandable, he said, flipping through files. She's been methodical. Careful. This isn't a simple theft, it's planned. She's been using aliases, offshore accounts, and transferring money in increments to avoid detection. She's calculating, I whispered. Rage and disbelief coiled together in my stomach. Very, he said. And based on what we've seen, she was preparing to leave you entirely. There's someone else, someone wealthy, likely the target of her greed. She wanted out quietly, without confrontation. I swallowed hard, heart pounding. I can't. I can't just stay. I need to get out, before she notices I know everything. Agreed, he said. Silence and strategy will protect you. Any confrontation could be dangerous, emotionally, financially, legally. I nodded. Then I leave quietly. Tonight. At her apartment, she greeted me with a kiss that felt hollow. There you are. I missed you. I smiled, my face blank. I missed you too, I said softly. Her eyebrows shot up. You seem different. Tense. I'm just tired, I said. Work's been hectic. Aha, she said, unconvinced. You're hiding something, I can tell. Maybe I am, I whispered. Maybe I've discovered a lot. Her smile faltered. What do you mean? I took a deep breath. You planned this. Every transfer, every lie, every hidden move. You were never honest with me. She laughed, harsh now. So, you know. I know, I said. And I'm leaving. Quietly. No scene. No accusations in public. I don't give you the satisfaction. Her eyes widened, lips parting. Leaving? Where would you go? How could you? I don't owe you an explanation, I said, voice cold. I don't owe you anything anymore. She stepped closer, trying to grab my arm. Aiden, wait. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, I said. You betrayed the one person who trusted you completely. And you'll never have that trust again. Ever. I walked past her, letting the door click shut behind me. The weight lifted slightly, but the heartbreak remained, sharp, raw, unrelenting. On the street, I breathed in the night air. My world was shattered, but I was free. I felt rage, heartbreak, disbelief, and an odd sense of clarity. I would rebuild. Slowly. Carefully. Strategically. And someday, she would regret underestimating me. For now, I swallowed the last piece of trust one had left, locked it away, and stepped into the night alone. I barely recognized myself. Another rejection email? Mark asked, peering at my laptop. I nodded, rubbing my temples. Third one today. And it's not just that, people are whispering. Rumors, about me. She's everywhere, twisting everything I ever said or did. Mark's face hardened. I'm sorry, man. That's cruel. I trusted her, I muttered, staring at the screen. Everything was perfect, or so I thought. And now? And now, he prompted gently. Now it's like I don't exist. She's erased me socially, financially, professionally. Every connection I had, gone. Mark leaned back. You're not invisible. You're angry, hurt, and yeah, humiliated. But you're still here. You can fight back. I don't know if I can, I said, my voice breaking. It's too much. Everywhere I turn, she's already there, smiling, charming, making me look pathetic. I can't even face people without feeling exposed. Mark's hand landed on my shoulder. Listen, I've seen you bounce back before. You're smarter than this. Smarter than her. I laughed bitterly. Smarter than her. She stole everything from me and made it look effortless. Smarter than her would mean seeing it coming. I didn't see it. I trusted her blindly. You weren't blind, Mark insisted. You were human. And humans make mistakes. Now you learn and move forward. You're not done yet. I shook my head. I feel like giving up. Just, vanish. Pretend none of this ever happened. Start over somewhere no one knows me. You're stronger than that, he said firmly. Even now, you're thinking, analyzing. You're alive. That means there's still fight in you. Later, I called my former mentor, Mr. Daniels. I don't know what to do, I admitted when he answered. Tell me what happened, he said calmly. Start from the beginning. I explained everything, her betrayal, the financial ruin, the whispers, the humiliation. My voice trembled at points, the shame raw. I see, he said softly. Aiden, rock bottom isn't the end. It's a chance to rebuild, but only if you acknowledge your pain without letting it define you. You have knowledge, skill, and resilience. You still have friends. Use them. I feel like I've lost everything, I whispered. Even myself. No, he said firmly. You haven't. You feel lost because you trusted someone who didn't deserve it. That doesn't erase who you are. It's a lesson, a brutal, unfair lesson, but still a lesson. You can reclaim your life. I paused, letting his words sink in. But how? Everyone sees me as a failure now. I can't even walk down the street without hearing whispers or feeling eyes on me. Focus on the people who matter, he said. Your true friends, your integrity, your talents. Build slowly. And when you're ready, plan strategically. Revenge doesn't have to be immediate. It can be precise. I don't know if I'm ready, I admitted, the exhaustion in my chest heavy. I'm still angry, still broken. That's normal, he said. Anger fuels clarity, not destruction. Pain fuels growth, not surrender. Right now, surviving is enough. Everything else comes after. I hung up, feeling the tension in my chest loosen slightly. Still raw, still betrayed, still humiliated, but alive. Mark stopped by later, holding a bag of takeout. I know you're not hungry, he said, setting it on the table. But you need to eat. You're too thin, too stressed. We'll get through this together. I don't even know who I am anymore, I admitted. You're the same person who built a career, who loved deeply, who trusted too much but learned from it. That person isn't gone. She didn't erase you. She just made you see clearly who she was. I stared at the floor, feeling a flicker of something I hadn't felt in days, determination. You can rebuild, Mark said. Step by step. Don't rush it. And when the time comes, you'll be stronger than ever. I nodded slowly. Step by step, I echoed, tasting the words. They felt heavy, but real. Later, alone in my apartment, I stared at the city skyline. My life was in shambles, jobs gone, bank accounts drained, friends shaken by the rumors she'd spread. But the night was quiet, my apartment silent, and I was still breathing. I whispered to myself, I'll rise. I'll survive. I'll be stronger than I ever was. And one day, she'll see it too. The weight of betrayal pressed down, but beneath it, a seed of resilience stirred. Rock bottom wasn't the end. Not yet. I sat in my apartment, staring at the city lights, trying to make sense of the chaos my life had become. I can't keep doing this, I muttered aloud, even though no one was there. Everything's gone. She took everything. A message popped up on my phone, I can help. Strategically. I froze. The number was unfamiliar. Who are you? I typed back, hesitating before hitting send. Call me Raven. I know what she did. I can help you reclaim everything, and more. I stared at the screen. The thought of revenge both thrilled and terrified me. Later that evening, I met him in a quiet cafe. He was sharp, eyes calculating, dressed too neatly for comfort. You're Aiden, he said without preamble. I've studied her moves. She's methodical, greedy, dangerous, but predictable if you know what to look for. And you can help me? I asked, wary. Yes, he said, leaning in. But understand this. What you're about to do isn't clean. There's risk. Morality is flexible. I swallowed hard. I don't care about clean. I care about reclaiming my life. He smirked. Good. First, we need intelligence. Every financial tie she has, every contact, every weakness. And patience. We strike only when it matters. I can't wait forever, I said. I need control now. You need the right moment, he corrected. Impulse will ruin you. Revenge is a chess game, not a fight in the dark. I nodded slowly, feeling a spark of control return. Back at my apartment, I pored over her accounts, past emails, social media interactions, trying to see the patterns Raven mentioned. I trusted you, I whispered to myself, looking at her smiling face in a photo. And you made me this, weak. Raven's words echoed, predictable if you know what to look for. I thought about giving up, just walking away, disappearing, starting over. But I couldn't. She couldn't get away with this. Not without seeing the consequence. I made a list aloud, pacing. Step 1, gather everything. Step 2, secure allies. Step 3, dismantle her influence quietly. Step 4, I trailed off, realizing the list could go on forever. But having a plan made me feel alive. Mark called. You've been silent for days. Are you okay? I'm working through things, I said carefully. I've got plans. Plans? He asked, suspicious. Nothing to worry about, I said quickly. Just sorting life. He paused. Aiden, be careful. Don't lose yourself in this. I won't, I said, though I wasn't sure I fully believed it. That night, I couldn't sleep. Thoughts collided in my head. Morality versus survival. Revenge versus letting go. I clenched my fists. If I forgive, I lose control. If I seek revenge, I become like her, I whispered to the darkness. But if I strategize, I can reclaim everything without losing myself entirely. I can be smarter, cleaner, precise. I stood and looked at my reflection in the window. The man staring back at me was exhausted, but something in his eyes had changed, determination. The next day, I met Raven again. We start with a map of her finances, he said, spreading papers across the table. Every transfer, every contact, every hidden asset. Once we have that, we control the narrative. I nodded, examining the spreadsheets. And her social network? Friends, allies, people who spread rumors. All part of the plan, he said. Subtle pressure, not overt confrontation. We expose her indirectly. She'll think it's luck, coincidence. By the time she realizes, it'll be too late. I felt a thrill I hadn't felt in weeks. And my reputation? Rebuild while undermining hers. The key is timing. Precision. You'll regain respect, wealth, and dignity, and she won't see it coming. I leaned back, running a hand through my hair. I can do this. I have to do this. She took everything from me, but she can't take my mind. My strategy. My patience. Raven's eyes gleamed. Good. You've made the critical choice. Most people break, or rush. You think. I think, I said, voice firm. And I act only when it counts. I don't need immediate satisfaction. I need results. I need control. He nodded approvingly. We'll start small. Gather intel, identify weaknesses, then plan the strikes. You'll reclaim what's yours and more. But remember, no mistakes. I won't make mistakes, I said, though a flicker of fear lingered. It was okay. Fear was fuel now. Later, alone, I whispered to the empty apartment, I choose me. I choose power. I choose revenge, strategic, patient, precise. The darkness felt different now, not oppressive, but charged. A plan was forming, a map of her vulnerabilities etched in my mind. I would rise, piece by piece, reclaiming what she stole. Not recklessly, not violently, but smartly, calculated, and unstoppable. And one day, when she saw me standing tall, powerful, untouchable, she would understand that I was the one who survived. I smiled, a cold, determined smile. I'm ready, I whispered. I'm ready to take it all back. I sat in my apartment, files spread across the table, coffee cooling beside me. You're quiet today, Mark said when he dropped by. Everything okay? Better than okay, I said, tapping the papers. I've been planning. Strategizing. Mark raised an eyebrow. Planning? Care to explain, or is this top secret stuff? Top secret, I said with a small smile. I've been quietly fixing things. My finances, my contacts, even my reputation. Mark leaned in. You're serious about this? Not just revenge, but rebuilding? Yes, I admitted. Rebuilding while letting karma do the work. Subtle, patient. Precise. He nodded slowly. You've changed. Stronger. Colder. Cold isn't the right word, I said. Calculated. Patient. I can't afford to make mistakes. Later, I met Raven again. I've mapped her accounts, contacts, even her social network, I said, spreading papers. Good, he said, scanning the sheets. Now, we watch. Every misstep she makes, we note. Every lie she spreads, we document. Quietly, strategically, until we strike. I've started, I said. Subtle moves. Transfers to secure accounts. Rebuilding connections. Posting strategically online, showing stability, success, credibility. Raven smiled faintly. Smart. She won't suspect a thing. And her setbacks? I've nudged them, I said, recalling subtle hints I planted among her friends. Rumors about her behavior, minor exposure of her lies. Nothing overt, just enough to make her life wobble. He nodded. Perfect. Let her think it's coincidence. By the time she realizes, the pattern will be undeniable. At a coffee shop, I ran into Emily, an old colleague and now a friend. Aiden, it's good to see you, she said warmly. You look different. Stronger. I've had to be, I said. After everything. She frowned. I heard about rumors, the breakup, everything. I'm sorry. Thanks, I said. But I'm not sorry for surviving. For reclaiming my life. That's what matters. Emily smiled, and I felt a spark of something new, trust, warmth, maybe even hope. If you ever need help, you know I'm here, she said. I do, I said. And I appreciate it. Back home, I reviewed my plan again. Step 1, secure finances. Step 2, rebuild reputation. Step 3, document her missteps. Step 4, subtle exposure. I paused. Step 5, time. Patience. I whispered to myself, I'll be ready. I'll be smarter. I'll be untouchable. Days passed. She called one evening. Aiden, we need to talk, she said. I raised an eyebrow. Oh. About what? Nothing, personal. Just, we need closure, she said, her voice casual. I'm busy, I said softly. Maybe later. She sighed. Always busy. Can't even spare a few minutes for me. I'll spare it when it matters, I said. Right now, I'm focused on my life. On rebuilding. There was silence. Then a faint, sharp laugh. You think you can just move on, rebuild, while I'm still here? I don't think, I said calmly. I act. Strategically. Patiently. You'll see it soon enough. Her voice hardened. We'll see. That night, I met Raven again. She's growing careless, I said. Missed a few transactions, shared a secret she shouldn't have with a colleague. Good, he said. We document it. Quietly, subtly. The unraveling begins. You're patient. You're ready. I am, I said. Every move is deliberate. No emotion, no impulsiveness. I control the pace. I thought about Emily, about Mark, about the few loyal allies I had. I'm not just reclaiming money or reputation, I whispered. I'm reclaiming myself. My dignity. My life. Raven leaned back. And your moral code? I smiled faintly. Still intact. I don't hurt people unnecessarily. I use their own lies, their own greed, against them. Karma, not cruelty. Justice, not revenge for revenge's sake. Later, alone, I watched her social media. Minor setbacks, exposed lies, awkward confrontations with friends I had subtly informed. Her life was wobbling, just enough. I whispered to myself, this is only the beginning. One step at a time. Patience. Precision. Power. The night felt charged, electric. For the first time in weeks, I felt control again, not anger, not desperation. Control. Quiet revenge, carefully planned, methodical, patient. I thought of Emily again, a reminder that not everyone betrays. That trust can be rebuilt. That love, or at least loyalty, can exist alongside strategy. I smiled to the darkness. I'm ready. She'll see me rise without noticing I moved until it was too late. And when she does, she'll know the meaning of her own choices. The city outside glimmered with possibilities. My world, once shattered, was now a chessboard. Every piece, every move, calculated. Quietly, I began to reclaim my kingdom, one deliberate, invisible step at a time. I saw her at the gala, sparkling in designer silk, laughing at a joke I didn't hear. My chest tightened. Surprised to see me? I said, stepping close. She froze, eyes flicking toward me. Aiden, what are you doing here? Same as you, I suppose, I said, voice calm but edged with steel. Attending a party, pretending life is perfect. But I have a few things to discuss. Her lips tightened. Discuss? Now. Here. Yes. Here. Public, private, I don't care. We need clarity. She glanced nervously at the crowd. Clarity about what? I smiled faintly, the smile of someone who has everything carefully in hand. About lies. Betrayal. The money you siphoned, the secrets you spread, the life you destroyed. Her face paled. Aiden, it wasn't. Wasn't what? I interrupted, my voice rising. Wasn't planned. Wasn't deliberate. Don't lie to me. You thought you could manipulate, deceive, and walk away unscathed. But I'm not the same person you left behind. She stepped back, eyes darting. People are watching. Exactly, I said. Everyone can see now. The lies, the deceit. And soon, they'll know everything. Everything. You can't. I can, I said. Because I prepared. I documented every move, every whisper, every deceit. Your accomplice, Lucas, is accounted for. I know everything he's done for you. Her mouth opened, then closed. Lucas, he wouldn't. He did. And you knew it, I said. Both of you were in it together. Betraying me, scheming behind my back, thinking I'd never see. Well, I saw. I'm not blind anymore. Tears glimmered in her eyes. Aiden, please, Please. You want me to forgive? I laughed softly, bitterly. Forgive the woman who drained my accounts, ruined my reputation, and humiliated me socially? She shook her head frantically. It wasn't supposed to go this far. I didn't mean. You didn't mean. I repeated, letting the disbelief sink into my words. You meant exactly what you did. And now, your world is unraveling. Her hands shook. Unraveling? What do you mean? I mean the subtle exposure you've ignored, I said, my voice low but sharp. Your friends doubt you. Colleagues question your integrity. Every little lie you told has been revealed quietly, strategically. Karma has a way of arriving quietly, painfully, and you're feeling it now. Her shoulders slumped. I didn't think. Exactly, I said. You never thought about the consequences. You thrived on manipulation, control, greed. But control is an illusion. And now, the illusion is gone. She looked around, desperate, eyes catching murmurs from nearby guests. Aiden, don't, please. I shook my head. Too late. The truth has a way of surfacing, and my rise has been unstoppable because I learned from the fall you caused. Every setback you engineered, every rumor you spread, every account you touched, I turned into leverage, precision, strategy. Her lips quivered. You can't. I can, I said, letting calm rage underlie each word. And I did. Quietly, subtly. While you basked in false power, I rebuilt, regained, reclaimed. And here I am, stronger, wiser, untouchable. She stumbled back, gaze falling. Aiden, this can't be happening. We can't be happening. I asked. It's always been happening. You just didn't notice because you underestimated me. I underestimated you once. Never again. She clutched her clutch, voice breaking. I never imagined you'd rise like this. I thought. You thought I'd crumble. I said softly. You thought betrayal would end me. It didn't. It made me sharper, smarter, patient. And now, every move I make is deliberate. Calculated. I control the narrative, while you watch helplessly. Lucas appeared nearby, eyes wide. I didn't think. You didn't think. I echoed. Exactly. Neither of you did. Now you see the cost. Her hands went to her face. Aiden, please, stop. I shook my head. I'm not stopping. I won't. Not until the balance is restored. Not until your lies, your greed, your betrayal, are exposed fully. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I can't, you'll ruin me. I already have, I said quietly, but with finality. You ruined yourself with your own choices. I didn't touch your pride, your arrogance, your manipulations. You did that alone. I simply let reality take its course, and now you feel the consequences. She sank into a chair, shoulders heaving, eyes darting to Lucas. We never meant this. You meant it perfectly, I said. And now, you understand. Too late. The consequences don't wait. The truth doesn't lie dormant. And the person you betrayed is unstoppable. The gala continued around us, oblivious to the private storm. Yet I didn't care. The moment was mine. I had clarity, control, and justice, quiet, patient, and complete. I looked at her, at Lucas, at the ruin they had created for themselves, and whispered to myself, rise, rebuild, reclaim. Always. And now, watch. I stepped into the boardroom, shoulders straight, eyes clear, heart steady. Aiden. You made it, Mark said, clapping me on the back. Look at you, confident, composed, unstoppable. I had to, I replied, smiling faintly. After everything, there's no other way to move forward. Emily joined us, eyes sparkling. I've never seen you like this. You're glowing. Glowing? I chuckled. Maybe it's just relief. Or maybe, strength finally feels real. She shook her head. It's more than relief. You rebuilt everything. Reputation, finances, even your confidence. People notice. I notice myself noticing, I said softly. And it's strange, pleasant, and comforting all at once. Mark leaned back. You've gone from the guy who was blindsided to the man everyone looks up to. How does that feel? Empowering, I admitted. But also humbling. I see now that resilience isn't just about revenge or reclaiming what's lost. It's about growth, patience, and clarity. Emily raised an eyebrow. Growth, that's a good word. I see it in you. You're different, stronger, wiser. I nodded. I've learned. Every betrayal, every humiliation, every setback, was a lesson I didn't want to take at the time. But now, I see the value. Mark smirked. So all that planning, plotting, strategizing, it worked. It did, I said. Quietly, strategically, precisely. I didn't just reclaim what was taken, I built something better, stronger. I control my life, my choices, my pace. And the people who underestimated me? They've realized the cost of their arrogance. Emily smiled. Even she. I paused. Even her. Karma has its way of aligning. I didn't ruin anyone unnecessarily. I let truth and consequence do their work. It was satisfying to watch reality unfold in my favor without losing myself in malice. Mark laughed softly. You're philosophical now. Who knew our broken, betrayed friend would emerge a sage? I suppose, I said with a small smile. But I'm no sage. I'm someone who's lived pain, understood it, and chose to rise rather than crumble. That's the lesson. Emily tilted her head. And love? Trust? Will you, let yourself feel again? I already have, I said quietly. In small ways. In steady, cautious ways. People like you remind me that loyalty and honesty exist. That some relationships are worth trusting. That growth doesn't mean closing off completely, it means choosing wisely. Mark leaned forward. So what's next, Aiden? Now that you've rebuilt everything? I let the words settle. I continue. I maintain. I evolve. I won't forget the lessons, the betrayals, or the pain, but I also won't let them dictate fear or bitterness. I've reclaimed my peace of mind, and that's priceless. Emily reached out, touching my arm lightly. You inspire people. Even those of us who witnessed your struggle feel hope now. You've turned heartbreak into power, humiliation into grace. I hope it's inspiration, not just cautionary tale, I said. I want people to see that even when everything collapses, you can rebuild stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. That it's not just revenge or survival, it's transformation. Mark laughed softly. You're turning speeches now, huh? I grinned. Maybe. But truth needs to be said. And I've earned the right to say it. Later, I walked through the city, noticing familiar faces who once doubted me. Friends approached, offering congratulations, smiles, genuine admiration. Aiden, one said, we saw what happened, how you handled it. Respect. I nodded, accepting the words quietly. Thank you. It means a lot. Another colleague added, "You've come back better than ever. We underestimated you." Lesson learned. Yes, I said softly. Lessons learned. Every betrayal, every setback, every moment of despair contributed to this strength. I'm grateful for clarity, even when it came through pain. At home that evening, I reflected alone. I've reclaimed wealth, yes. Respect, definitely. Peace of mind, absolutely. But more importantly, I've reclaimed myself. I know my boundaries, my strength, my resilience. I understand what I value and who deserves my trust. I understand consequences, patience, and subtlety. I glanced at old photos, memories of her, of heartbreak, of humiliation. I breathed deeply. I forgive, not for her, but for me. I release the anger, the obsession, the fear. It no longer controls me. I've learned, I've grown, and I've risen stronger. The phone buzzed. Emily's message, dinner tomorrow? Celebrate the victories, big and small. I smiled, typing back, absolutely. Grateful for friends who remind me of the good in the world. I stood by the window, city lights stretching endlessly, reflecting possibilities. I am not defined by betrayal, I whispered. I am defined by how I rise, how I grow, how I reclaim. And I've done all of it. I looked at my reflection. The man staring back was different, wiser, calmer, confident. The weight of loss had been transformed into strength. The scars of betrayal remained, but they were symbols of endurance, not weakness. I am whole, I said aloud. I am powerful. I am unstoppable. And I will continue to rise, stronger, every day. I saw her name trending online, attached to a scandal that no careful PR spin could undo. Unbelievable, Mark said, scrolling through his phone. She's exposed completely. Not surprising, I said softly. Truth always finds a way. Emily leaned back in her chair. And yet, you don't look satisfied. You're calm. Almost peaceful. I am, I admitted. I never wanted to ruin her. I wanted closure. Balance. Karma has done its work. Mark frowned. You don't feel vindicated? Happy? Why would I? I asked. Her downfall isn't pleasure. It's consequence. And I've learned that satisfaction from vengeance isn't strength. Calm, control, and clarity, that's strength. My phone buzzed. A message from a mutual acquaintance, she's devastated. No money, no friends, reputation in ruins. I read it, exhaled, and whispered, finally, the lesson has settled. Later, I met Emily for coffee. I saw what happened, she said. How does it feel, seeing her like this? Strange, I said. I expected anger, resentment, maybe a little gloating. But, there's only calm. The weight of the past is gone. I feel free. Emily nodded. You've grown. Stronger, wiser. It's inspiring. I smiled faintly. It's more than that. I've learned patience. Strategy. The value of observing rather than reacting. And most importantly, the ability to let consequences, not emotion, guide outcomes. A text popped up. She tried contacting you. Tears, apologies, promises to change. Don't respond. I stared at it, fingers hovering. I won't. The lesson is learned. I've changed. She cannot touch my peace. Mark joined me later. You're truly untouchable now. Socially, financially, emotionally. And yet, you walk around like nothing happened. That's the point, I said. I've walked through betrayal, humiliation, loss, and returned whole. That isn't chaos, it's clarity. I am free because I no longer depend on her actions to define me. Emily leaned closer. You forgive, then? Not for her, I said. For me. Forgiveness isn't about her. It's about letting go. I don't need to carry anger anymore. I don't need to watch her suffer to feel complete. Completion comes from within. Mark laughed softly. You make it sound easy. It isn't, I admitted. It took strategy, patience, discipline. I watched, learned, prepared. And now, balance has been restored without me losing myself. A notification from a colleague, she's lost her investors, everyone's pulling out. She's isolated, desperate. You've rebuilt while she crumbled. I nodded slowly. Yes. And yet, no joy. Only understanding. She faces the natural outcome of her choices. That's enough. Later that evening, I walked along the river, city lights reflecting in the water. I've reclaimed life, I whispered. Rebuilt wealth, dignity, relationships. But most importantly, reclaimed myself. Her downfall is a result of her choices, not my hatred. Emily joined me, a calm smile on her face. You're glowing. At peace. I am, I said. For the first time in years, I'm unshaken by past pain. Betrayal taught me resilience. Loss taught me patience. And closure taught me freedom. Mark appeared beside us. Do you regret any of it? The planning, the wait, the careful steps. No, I said firmly. Every step was necessary. Not for revenge, but for growth. For understanding. And ultimately, for release. Emily nodded. You've mastered control over your life and emotions. That's rare. I learned it the hard way, I said, smiling faintly. And now, seeing her face the consequences, without me needing to intervene personally, I feel calm. Complete. Free. Mark looked at me with awe. It's impressive. All that planning, patience, quietly, you let it unfold. Exactly, I said. Quiet observation, subtle influence, and patience. Karma did the rest. I didn't need to gloat. I didn't need chaos. I needed clarity and closure. A message from Emily, dinner to celebrate you. Your freedom, your rise, your resilience. I typed back, absolutely. Let's celebrate what matters, growth, peace, and strength. I walked home alone after our coffee, feeling the cool breeze against my face. The city buzzed with life, unaware of the private storm behind my calm. And I didn't mind. I didn't need the world to see or applaud. I had seen, endured, and risen stronger. At my apartment, I paused, looking at the skyline. I am free, I whispered. Free from past pain, betrayal, and resentment. Free to live, grow, and thrive. Karma completed, balance restored, and I, unshaken, whole, complete. I sat quietly, letting the peace settle in. No anger, no obsession, no longing. Only clarity, calm, and a quiet smile. The past no longer dictated me. I had risen, stronger than ever. I walked into the studio, sunlight spilling across the polished floors. Morning, Aiden. Mia greeted, smiling brightly. You ready for the first client session? I am, I said, feeling the ease in my chest. Ready, focused, present. She raised an eyebrow. You sound peaceful. That's new. It is, I admitted. I've spent years chasing clarity and balance. Now, I think I finally found it. Mia chuckled. Looks like someone's thriving. I am, I said, scanning the room. Every opportunity one missed before is back, multiplied. But it's not just success. It's perspective. Freedom from the past. The freedom to choose. A new client entered, a young woman with nervous energy. "Hi, Aiden," she said softly. "I heard good things about your coaching." "Thank you," I said warmly. "Let's start with what matters to you." As she spoke, I listened carefully. Not just to her words, but to her concerns, her hopes. For the first time in months, I felt the weight of the past lift. Later, Mia leaned against the doorway. "You're different now." Calm, confident. And still compassionate. "I had to be," I said. The old me was reactive. Vulnerable. I let betrayal define me once. Not again. I've rebuilt, not just materially, but internally. She nodded. "It shows. People notice. Friends notice. And, you notice yourself noticing." "Yes," I said softly. "I notice growth, strength, resilience. I notice the ability to enjoy life without the shadow of anger." My phone buzzed. A message from Emily: "Dinner tonight? Celebrate the new chapter." I smiled, typing back, "Absolutely. Let's toast growth, resilience, and what's ahead." Walking through the park later, I watched families laughing, couples strolling, people living. I whispered to myself, I'm part of this world again. Fully. No bitterness, no obsession. Just, life. A stranger jogged past, smiling apologetically as he nearly bumped me. "Sorry." "It's okay," I said, returning a faint smile. Small interactions, simple gestures, they felt significant now. Connected. Real. Alive. Mia called later. "How's the evening going?" "Peaceful," I said. "I met some old colleagues. Rebuilt bridges. Simple conversations. No agendas. Just, human connection." "That's good to hear," she said softly. "You've come far." "I have," I said. "And I realize now it's not about rebuilding what was lost to betrayal. It's about creating something better. Something authentic. Something lasting." Later, Emily arrived. "Ready for dinner?" she asked. "I am," I said, taking a deep breath. Not just for the meal, but for the life I'm embracing. Freedom, clarity, opportunity. We walked together, chatting about work, travel, books, mundane yet comforting topics. Every word, every laugh, felt like reclamation. At the restaurant, Mia joined us. "To Aiden," she said, raising her glass. "For resilience, growth, and moving forward." "To moving forward," I echoed, clinking glasses. Emily smiled. "You deserve this peace. This, calm. The world doesn't break you, it teaches you. And you've learned beautifully." "I hope so," I said softly. "I hope I remember that growth is patient. That healing doesn't need revenge to be complete. That happiness isn't found in others' ruin but in my own stability and choice." Mark called during the evening. "How's the celebration?" "Perfect," I said. "I'm surrounded by friends, by trust, by life that matters. And for the first time, I feel content." He laughed. "Content, huh? That's a word I didn't think I'd hear from you months ago." "Me neither," I admitted. "But it's real. Solid. Peaceful. And that's enough." Later, Emily leaned back, looking at me. "Any thoughts about love? Or is this purely self-discovery?" I considered it. "Both," I said. "I've rediscovered myself, my strength, my resilience. And maybe there's room now for something new, careful, meaningful, genuine. But it will never come at the cost of who I am." She smiled. "Sounds like you've truly moved on." "I have," I said. "Not forgetting, not resenting. Just, living. Choosing the life I want, unshaken by the past. Every decision, every interaction, every moment is mine to shape. Walking home alone, city lights glimmering, I felt the gentle pulse of life around me. I am whole, I whispered. I am free. I am ready. And the future is mine. Sitting by the window later, I watched the stars reflect on the skyline. Calm, content, and open to the world, I whispered to myself, this is my life now. My growth, my choice, my joy. And I will move forward, stronger, wiser, and unbound.